cloud. Good evening. I'm Glenda Carlin, and this is our weekly Tuesday night A Course in Miracles in Tibetan Buddhist Zoom meeting. And it is March 3rd, 2026. And I always like to be tuned into the present moment. And before I started recording, some people were sharing in this Zoom meeting were about sending love and light and well wishes to all, in particular, people within our Zoom group. So we're going to do that. So everybody just kind of lean back in your mind, put the thinking mind in the back seat, and just take that deep breath from the navel area. Deep breath in, on out breath, just go, relax, just relax. Breathe and relax. Deep breath in. On the exhale, just relax and be in your natural state, your natural home, which is this open, relaxed, radiant, clear light. This is your home. And from that home, naturally, we emit divine love, divine light, well wishes. So we'll just go around our Zoom meeting. There's Lynn and her husband, Lee, and family. There's Angela, her partner and family. Dee, her husband, Clay, and family. Ed, his family and partners. Leon, his partners and family. Julia. I'm now recounting her dog that just passed. Her brother that had a stroke and came back from, they said, a 10% chance of living. Her daughter had some surgery. I won't recount each thing we're doing. And then there's other members of our group that aren't here that we want to send well wishes and this divine love and peace and stillness, because that's your natural state, your nature, your nature. That's called Christ nature, Buddha nature. That is your divine birthright. But we don't access it because we're living in that left brain hemisphere of thinking. But with meditation, sky gazing, space mingling meditation, practicing trechet, seeing through, being through, cutting through these images to see the clear light essence, or at least think about the clear light essence. What we're doing, we're accessing in brief moments, repeated many times, that nature that's this clear, pure, it shows up as clear light because it's so pure. Our nature that's divine love, divine peace. We're sending that out, not just to this Zoom group. Extend your awareness to your city, your state, our country. Let's go to the entire world where now there's conflict in the Middle East, worse conflict due to our going to war for no reason that I can see. We send that light, clear light, peace, presence out. That openness, that radiant openness. And I clarified earlier, I teach the middle way. We do these practices, but yet that's why we have doctors, acupuncturists, a nutritionist, exercise teachers. I mean, it's a balance between body, mind, and spirit. A balance. And what we're cultivating is this awakened Christ, Buddha, God awareness, capital A awareness. And that awareness is aware of itself. This awareness is like a mirror. It's perfect, it's clear, untainted by any images that show up in it, because the images come and go. You know, you look in the mirror, then later your husband or partner, somebody goes and looks in the mirror, and then that leaves, and you come back, you got a different outfit on or whatever. That mirror is untainted, unstained, undefiled by whatever shows up, no matter what that attitude is. It's untainted because it is pure, unchanging, unmoving. That's what we access by practicing spiritual truths, reading spiritual books, for example, our Buddha Standard Time book, listening to podcasts that speak of light and energy. And in my email, I talk about, I was looking for something to watch on TV, and I clicked on, Prime, Amazon Prime stream, and I was looking, and there was a 5-part series. Let's see if I can find my note about the name of it. It's called Bliss of Joy, I believe it was. And don't you know, 5-part series. In it, it interviewed healers or people that were, and it defined about this light body. It looks like we're physical bodies, but there's a mental body. There's a physical, besides the physical body, there's an emotional body, and there's a light body. And they define that light body as these invisible chakras, these invisible energies that are flowing within our body. Interviewed Dr. Sue Morter and other healers. And the base truth was, this light is within everything, but we're just not aware of it. It's invisible. And that this light, if accessed and we be there, it naturally moves within the body. The body, it naturally wants to move and be in balance. And when it moves, then it's balancing this right and left brain hemisphere. So that brings me to, and I wasn't going to do this, I was sitting here considering what I want to talk about tonight. And it came to me to open up this Buddha Standard Time book. And on page 82 and 83, there's an exercise about finding this chi, this energy. I call it the Great Ray, but it's chi and energy. And I'm going to read it. He's describing how there's the masculine energy, that's the left brain, and the right brain is the feminine energy. But how you see it in male versus woman, and then when they hold hands. Let's see, I'm going to write here. Chi flowing through our bodies governs all our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual activities. It is nourished and affected by our external environment, the food we eat, and our thoughts, intentions, and emotions. Hence, mindful breathing, martial arts, sports, meditation, prayer, visualization, dancing, singing, listening to music, and other contemplative arts can have a profound effect on our well-being at all levels. Like time itself, the energy moving through the chakras can flow smoothly, speed up or slow down, or be obstructed. Traditionally, health was defined as balanced chi flow. In Japan, the word for health, Genki, means good, Gen, Kai, Ki, or chi, Chi, energy. Health equals balance and harmony, the natural state of original being. Illness implies imbalance, disharmony, and is an aberration to be rectified, Rectified. Chi or ki energy used in acupuncture and similar healing arts is not routinely recognized by Western science, but it can be easily demonstrated. Hold a pendulum for a pendulum, parentheses, or a small crystal, or even a metal nail clipper with a thread about 6 inches long attached to the end, several inches over the back of a person's head, ideally over the hair spiral. Hold the string from above with one hand, and with the other hand steady it at the bottom so the pendulum stands still. Then remove the bottom hand and observe what happens. The pendulum will start to vibrate slightly and then gradually move in a spiral. See, this yin yang I talked to y'all about, it's spiraling within this great ray straight down my central channel and yours too. It awakens more and more and more. Anyway, okay, let's think. Wait a minute. In a man, it will typically move in a counterclockwise direction. In a female, it will move clockwise. This reflects the polarity between the sexes. Man is slightly more yang than woman and proportionately more governed by heaven's downward, inward moving centrifugal force. Woman is slightly more yin and is shaped and influenced by the earth's upward, outward moving centrifugal force. This helps explain many things, such as why, in general, women tend to talk, shop, and emote more than men do. All right brain, associative, upward and outward directed activities, whereas men tend to use fewer words, zero in on what they need, rather than browse or shop and hold their emotions in. All left brain focused inward and downward directed pursuits. If you have two people of opposite sexes to experiment with, ask them to stand next to each other. First, demonstrate how the chi spirals differently when you hold the pendulum over each one's head. Then ask them to hold hands and repeat the test. Surprise! The pendulum stops moving. Why? Because there's a balance. Yin and yang are in harmony. Congratulations, you have stopped time. You have demonstrated the simple, age-old wisdom about energy and matter, mind and body. Now, why I'm bringing this up is this is really the crux of awakening and enlightenment. I didn't used to identify it this way until within the last couple of months, but I fully believe if I'd recognized this sooner, that me knowing this would have spurred me on to practice in a few little different ways. Me knowing that, picture this head with the skull off, the brain, it's split right down the middle. There's a left brain hemisphere and a right brain hemisphere. This is all science-based. The left brain deals with the thinking mind. I don't know if a lot of doctors recognize that the right brain is the intuitive, the God part, spiritual side. But with the separation, the bridge between the two, the corpus callosum, a cable of tiny nerve fibers, that thing's blocked. And these two sides of the brain are not talking to each other. So how the hell do you get them to talk to each other and get back in balance? One's yang, one is yin. They are in opposition. They got to rejoin. And when they rejoin, they spiral together around the central channel, in the central channel. They're in balance with this great ray. Okay, so how we do it are these practices, that simple practices, the main one being trechet, T-R-E-C-H-O-D. I'm not kidding. I did not get this. And what that, and I didn't, it's shocking to me. I didn't understand what I had to understand what is doing trechet. Trechet means like I see Angela's image, I see through her form, see through it, be through it, cut through it. There's just clear light there. What's doing that? It's non-dual awareness. Awareness, a no-sided blade of non-dual awareness is what We're using, when we stop to practice looking at an image and think and remembering to see through it to its clear light essence, see through it to its nature, which is clear light. Here looks like clear light. Each time that you do that through a single image, what happens? You move this left brain, you open that bridge a little bit. That left brain's moving a little bit over here to the right. So picture you do touch it for a month, 2 months, 6 months. You're going to get that bridge to open, and these two sides of the brain are going to start talking, communicating. And what results is stillness, because when we're in the thinking side of the brain, we're thinking thoughts, we're having thoughts of duality, and not just thoughts, we're thinking, they're called polarities, like good, bad, subject, object, self, and others. It's opposites. The left side of the brain is just thinking in opposites. And with opposites of good, bad, thinking, just picture then that in that left brain, these thoughts, they're darting around. I'm not kidding you. Your attention goes to one, then it's on another, and your attention may not be there. So when you're not in awake and mindful, that mind just rattling around. It's like a blizzard of just snowflakes, or just thoughts, feelings are just jumping around up there. That causes winds, winds that move throughout the whole body, that then cause tenseness, nervousness, anxiety, depression. I don't even know what it causes, that emotional body. It's all tied from whether we're mindful of what we're doing while we're doing it. If we're aware, another word for mindfulness is awareness. Are we aware of what we're thinking while we're doing something? It brings sanity. It brings a balance, mindfulness and awareness. So you end up cultivating this higher awareness each time you pop open that left side to go across that middle area over here to openness, clearness, thinking about clear light of your friends or people, or the country, like the Middle East. I think of in meditation, each country I silently call out the names. In just this last week or a few weeks, immediately upon me calling out a name, instantly that country disappears, because I see a map. My awareness is above that Middle East, looking down. I'm looking at the countries, call them out, they disappear. That's what happens with this practice. You've accessed the natural cleaning mechanism of that happens here in this central channel. When the light comes in, it makes images. And when it ascends back up to God or source, it dissolves the image. So in an instant, an image seems to appear, and in that split second, the image disappears into the clear light. That's the nature. That's heaven. That's our natural condition. You still can see these images, appreciate and enjoy them, but you're aware that it's a magic show that comes and goes. But if I don't let these images come and go, guess what? I just stopped the parade. And I believe in these objects, and I'm a thinking about them and ruminating on them, label them good and bad, sorting. I mean, it's so simple, but you're learning the nature of how your mind works, and you're become aware of it, and you're letting it go. Now, when this last week, I recognized something, that where I'm able to now let these thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, and the six senses are called: thinking, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. The six senses each have sensations. Those sensations are objects, They're objects that a thought, a feeling, a sensation, that's an object that the subject, that ego mind goes and picks on. Subject, object. And it goes and works with it. It deals with it. It goes and latches onto it or pushes it away because it doesn't like it. Well, that causes these discursive chains of discursive thinking and wins. But anyway, I wondered about what the heck am I able to let these thoughts be aware of them and let them go, but now just simply uh, instantly they disappear. That's called, forget, there's a word for it, rain draw. It means self-arising and self-liberating. Because this is all how God awareness created this illusionary physical world. With the movement of the great ray downward, the light radiates out and makes these images. And then on the ascent back up, it dissolves, it reabsorbs that energy into itself. It radiates the energy, it reabsorbs the energy into itself, actually canceling out the image. That's why in holograms, there's never really any images. There's just this vibrating light. Because there really aren't any solidified images. It's just by our thinking that I don't really know how that works because we sure look solid. But anyway, I I really started laughing because see, I never had any formal meditation training. I never went to any classes. I didn't have a guru that taught me meditation until the Holy Spirit brought that Lama Surya Das. And for almost 3 years, I had him as a guru till I could hear my own internal voice. But I didn't realize it. I was learning meditation from him in these Zoom meetings, I've never met the man in these Zoom meetings. And in this book, Buddha Standard Time, don't you know, he describes the three types of practices that are part of the three basic meditation practices, page 69 and 70. The first practice is concentration. The next one's mindfulness. The third one's called insightfulness. With these, a person does these meditations usually in all three together. But anyway, I realized I would talk to you all about when I was meditating, I would become aware when my mind wandered off. My whole life, I never was aware my mind was wandering off. But with meditation, things slow down and you become aware that your mind wandered off into the future or the past. And I would say to you, because I would hear him say this, use the leash of remindfulness and bring the wandering mind back to center. So I would do that. Okay, you with me? Oh, it sometimes take you 5 or 10 minutes or more before I realize, oh man, I've been off thinking about some memory. Bring the leash. I picture a little leash like you have on a dog. I bringing my mind back to my awareness, back my attention, my attention. It's really attention and awareness. The awareness is wandered off back to center, and I would see spaciousness, just space, just space. Well, I did that. I did that for 2 or 3 years, probably. Well, 2 years maybe. And then one day during a Sunday town hall meditation that he was leading, during that meditation, he just all of a sudden said, now stop meditating. And he leaned back, put his hands behind together, and then put his arms behind his head, and he leaned back in a chair. And I wanted to go, what the F? How do you not meditate? But, 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 but see, what he's doing is that's the shift. The meditation of non-meditation is we're not concentrating anymore. on thoughts, feelings, and images. We're not, what's it called? We're not, the first part's concentration, where I use the leash every mindfulness. Other people, they teach them, you use your breath. Concentrate on your breath, bring yourself back to the breath or to a candle flame or something. You got an object of something to concentrate on, right? Well, I was concentrating on space. Well, anyway, so but this non-meditation is not changing anything. See what I did? I went over there with my attention, with a leash or whatever, and I came back to an object, space or breathing or a candle flame. Non meditation, see, that's reinforcing subject and object. You with me? The object are the thoughts, the subject is a space or breath or candle flame. And that's subject object, the two-ness. Two-ness is, but first, that's the first part of meditation is to get you to be aware this stuff's going on in your mind. And you're responsible. You can be responsible for which things you're thinking about. But anyway, concentrating on non-meditation is learning to just let go. Just let go means to let come and go. Just let all those sensations, thoughts, and feelings, they're just there. They're coming and they're going, coming and going. And what the hell are they coming and going on? The clear light, nature, the luminous, groundless ground of God presence, which is your presence. They're coming and going on that. And that's why in this teaching tonight, I explained the root of dualism has been cut, where my awareness has been set free. With enough practice of letting go, means letting these thoughts, feelings, sensations come and go. You just be in your rest. You don't know it, but you're being and resting for split seconds in this clear light or stillness. You're not really aware of it yet, but there's space developing within all this. You're aware, you're becoming aware of this nature of how the mind works. And you're not getting entangled with it anymore. You're not entangled in the web of the sensations. Man, I laughed so hard when I realized what non-meditation means. Because in non-meditation, what he has people do is called sky gazing. Evidently, he coined that word, sky gazing, based on some Sanskrit or Tibetan terms. But what that means is with eyes open, and he always says eyes open, ears open, mouth open, anus open, diaphragm open, everything open. Now, why the hell is he saying all that? Because everything's all shut down. It's all contracted. Because we're thinking in the left brain mind. But for moments during meditation, you're thinking about, eyes open, ears open, mouth open. And if you really get up going on it, on Tretchid, you can see through your eyes to see an open corridor between them. See through your ears, see an open corridor, your nostril, open corridor, mouth, open corridor, throat, open corridor, everything open, not clogged up, all open, open, open. But why the eyes are open is when you get off, where you gaze with your head is kind of is level like this, but your eyes kind of gaze a little upward. You don't let your head go backward or down. It's centered right over your spine, and then you're just gazing up. You're just kind of gazing. You're not watching things. Like I've said, sky gazing, we'll look at the sky. And I've had people say, well, the clouds change. The clouds don't go away immediately. And I go, hold it. You're watching this stuff. No, you're just kind of gazing and letting them be. See what's happening. We're letting things be. Let those clouds just do. Maybe a plane will show up, maybe a bird will show up. You're just kind of getting, but your eyes are open. When you get off the meditation cushion, guess what? Your eyes are open. Because I mean, that's how you walk around, your eyes are open. He's wanting to train us to recognize we're having these thoughts even when we're walking around. Being mindful, and how you recognize that, being mindful of what you're doing while you're doing it. Then you're recognizing that the mind went off into the future or the past. And just being aware that it went off into the future and past liberates it, because this is its natural state. It naturally liberates. If you leave this stuff alone, that's how it works, because that's the movement of the great ray, down and up, radiate, reabsorb, radiate, reabsorb on itself. If we don't have attachment, aversion, or a label, name, all these things, blah blah. But I realize this mind body, it's called a mind body continuum, because it's all going together here. This mind body continuum, I'm allowing it to be free. The mind, the body, whatever it wants to feel, it feels. Whatever the mind's thinking, it's thinking. I have cut the leash. I have cut the cord to telling that mind and body, you cannot say this stuff. Do not do this. Quit this. Because we're trying to, what you're doing, you're reconditioning habits, deconditioning habits. But we're doing it not by demanding and not yelling at ego. Or we're what we're doing, we're letting things be free. See, now that's different. This is free, because with this freedom comes the unclogging of all these chakras, all the central channel, this corpus callosum being clogged up with thoughts, judgments, images, memories of the past. It's getting unglued. All that stuff's getting unglued to move, to move. That's why some people go, oh, damn. I started meditation to not, to get rid of thoughts. I got more thoughts. I don't mean to laugh, but more thoughts, because it's only because they're becoming aware of what their mind's been doing all along. But now you're aware, we're not demanding, we're not pushing. There is this, the tale in Buddhism. I love the tale, and I won't get it exactly right. It's about a ship at sea that has these birds in cages, and the ship is at sea and they let the birds go. The birds are flying around. They're out in the middle of the ocean. There's nowhere to land. Guess where they're going to land? The only place they can go is go back home to that ship and land. Well, guess what? You let all the birds are examples of all these thoughts, feelings, all these sensations. You cut the cord and let the leash, and you let all this stuff float free. Your nature will go back home to the clear light, and it'll rest there. And as it rests there, you've cultivated, opened up your capital A awareness that's aware these things are going on, but you're not entangled with them. You're in balance with them. The left and right brain are talking back and forth. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions are going over here to the right side. They're in balance. You have loving thoughts, loving feeling. Everything switches to cranky, crusty, set in the sand beliefs and attitudes start opening up, because you're letting go. You're letting go as the winds of your chi energy, this prana energy starts freeing up all this clogged stuff in the mind body continuum, and the memories will arise. And that's when you practice Jesus' advanced forgiveness of looking beyond the body to the clear light of spirit that's there, or practicing Trechet on them, seeing through, being through them to their clear light nature. Because that's all enlightenment. That's what it is. You've awakened and are resting in being with this clear light nature. You're clear light. Oh man. Okay, now here's something unusual. Remember last week I was talking about it floored me when I recognized that my belief in self has been slowly been being let go of for years, 3 or 4 years. That because that's one of the crux hardcore beliefs. We're a separate self, a separate body that we're slowly letting go of to this that you're just clear light, clear light radiation all through this form. But anyway, one of the final stages of letting go of that false self, belief in a self, and with the belief in a self comes a belief in others, was when I saw that Padmasambhava picture of the rocket ship by his head. And below the rocket ship, there's a little person with a head and a body. That little, see, that's next to the head. That thought of a self is in that mind. And as we let go of that thin sense of a self by opening up short moments repeated many times of thinking of things as clear light, you open up and you eject, jettison that final sin of self. It's sent off in a rocket ship. It shoots out of the top of your head. In my case, I'm not sure what yours will do, but the sense of self got jettisoned, it got released. And within the next day or two, then the sense of a universe, a cosmic universe of separate forms, that got ejected out the top of the head. Because with those two things ejected, the false belief in a sense of self, see, that's the polarity. These polarities that are contained within dualism is a sense of self and a sense of others. Self and others, that's called subject and objects. That's separation. That's two-ness. We're slowly, slowly letting go of that every time you think or see that clear light. But anyway, because they got jettisoned, that's why there's this, I feel this stillness. And due to this stillness, then as I sit in meditation, just sitting in my chair, and I tune into this chi, this prana energy, what happens immediately is I get a vision now of being above it all. And that's not has happened a few times in the last couple of years, but I never thought about cultivating that awareness like that. And that in this email somewhere, I've got which podcast of Lama Surya Das I was listening to, and he in it, he only makes 2 or 3 sentences. He doesn't sit there in these in-person retreats and just drill this stuff home to people. He just, like I do, he just says 2 or 3 sentences and he goes on to something else. But those 2 or 3 sentences says looking from above, the God eyeball, the view from above. And that's above, Jesus calls it above the battleground. And so I had not thought about that word battleground until Sue Ann Okerwile posted something from A Course in Miracles where Jesus in chapter 23, section IV, talks about above the battleground. And I realized that's what's happened. With this harmony of the left and right brain, there's this stillness and this capital A awareness opens, but also the God eyeball opens, the third eye opens. And with that comes insights, visions, whatever you want to call it, where it comes to you being with that God presence, you feel like it's above your head. And I feel that way as well. And the great ray comes off of it because the great ray comes in that top back center of the head. It comes vertical back in. So we're vertical. Now, in this physical world, that's how it appears to me. It's vertical. So it's coming in vertical. It's got to come from somewhere. So it's somewhere above my head. It's called the groundless ground in Buddhism. Primordial essence, presence, the groundless ground, God, God presence. Here's what Jesus says. The overlooking of the battleground is now your purpose. Now, see, you could save yourself a few years of work if you read about above the battleground. But what's happened in this 6 years, 2019, when that Holy Spirit brought Buddhism and Lama Surya Das to me. What's happened? Well, prior to then, though, when the Great Ray opened, I had a sense there was something above because it was flowing up and down. It was flowing down and up, the Great Ray down and up, my central channel. But he says the overlooking of the background is now your purpose. So if you can cultivate taking your awareness and going above your head and just lean back and just kind of sense that you're a bird soaring above your head. It's soaring. And that bird looks down and it sees the top of your head. It sees you sitting in the chair, right now, my chair, or your living room chair. You're cultivating seeing above the battleground, and that will pay off because you're no that's non-dual. That's you're seeing from above. And Jesus, be lifted up, he says, and from a higher place, look down upon it. That's what I'm asking you to do. Look down on that, down in your house. Then what happens then? You can look down on your whole damn state. Then you can look down and see the United States of America, see Canada, you can see the Middle East. Then you look down, you see planet Earth floating in that blue sphere. When the Great Ray comes down and goes up, that force produced a big blue sphere. And within the big blue sphere, the vibrating particles made the 5 elements. And within the big blue sphere is the whole universe of all the planets and all the individual beings on the planets. So you can look down from this higher groundless ground, it's called, look down and recognize this is how it is. You look down, there's a big blue sphere, and it seems to be floating in vast openness. It's like a big bubble, a sphere. And the Course talks about the sphere, but within it is all the universe. Well, the Great Ray that comes through you. So picture the groundless grounds above your head. The Great Ray comes off that groundless ground, comes straight down your head, through you, goes through your feet into the earth, because we're on planet Earth. But just take that vertical column of Great Ray light, go outside the earth, and what you're doing, you're out in the big you're out among all the swirling universe, the Milky Way, and all the stuff, the planets within the big blue sphere. So what happens? You just sit there, that great, and take your breath. Just relax to your in and out breath. In and you breathe in and breathe out. There's a rhythm to it. The Great Ray goes with that. It comes above your head. The Great Ray comes in, comes down, goes through your body, through planet Earth, through this big blue sphere, and then goes back up. You are the conduit. You are the vessel. You are the channel that connects heaven with earth. You are enlightening the earth. Every time you think about something like this, you are helping the collective consciousness wake up a little faster than it would have, because you've accessed the big conduit, the big Great Ray is coming in. It radiates, it reabsorbs. You feel it as expansion and contraction. You are a conduit, a vessel. What I just described to you, I started feeling in the last few days. Before, the ray kind of stopped just within my body, I never really took it that into the planet Earth, let alone that I went straight through the center of the Earth, would see like a tunnel, see like a tube, and the energy goes down and comes up through through from the top of my head, through my body, into the earth, the center of the earth, through the center of the earth, through the center of the big blue sphere. All this is in lightning speed, and then it goes back up. You are the conduit, you are the connection. Uh, and that's awakened living, enlightened living, because you're directly connected to source. Now, here's a bizarre deal. So I've been sitting with meditation, and that, and oh, and I kind of got detoured is I was listening to that 5-part series of the bliss of its healing. And they were talking about the light body and stuff. I was sitting in my chair and they had the healers were doing different work on different people. And I didn't realize it, but the great ray light within me had connected with them. And I was, before I knew it, this great ray energy and yin and yang, because they're rejoined in the harmony and in balance. When totally awakened, they're all moving together. You've unveiled all these obscurations, they're working together, radiating out, reabsorbing. I was being with them, and all of a sudden in my mind, I saw what I just described to you. I was connected to source. The light was coming straight through me, through my body into the planet Earth, straight down. I saw the tube within the planet, center of planet Earth, out into the big blue sphere. That connected me totally to the rhythm of this whole big blue sphere, the whole universe. Our natural our natural condition. We're all in this together. We're all breathing with the same breath and the same chi, prana energy, light energy, but we're just not aware of it. Okay. I wanted to tell you about. So then I kind of forget if it was the day before or the next day or whatever. So I'm lying in flat in bed and I feel, what happens as you start to open all these energies, they want balance. It wants balance. That capital A God awareness, it wants balance. It wants your left and right brain balanced. It wants everything open. So it's sending light. It's sending light into your form. So light's coming in and pushing and going. I feel a pressure on my forehead and my whole head. But then I feel my head's all open. And as this aware, I feel an open in this energy. What happens then? I just look in my mind and see, I always thought, in the physical world, the negativity is called darkness and stuff. But in the in reality, in heaven, so to speak, that God presence is pure blackness. It's got a shine to it. The shine is the clear light, but it's pure blackness because it's just so tight with all this purity and it's just it's just radiance. It's just so tight. It's black. So in my mind, I saw it looked like we might walk out and look at the sky, like a black sky. And it had gray specks. Because remember, I learned from that journey home from that Amas. The brain, because the blackness, the blackness of God presence and the glow of blackness is the clear light. Because of the juxtaposition of the blackness and the clear light, the mind cannot process it. So it sees the color gray. So there I saw this big black sky with all kinds of specks of gray specks. Oh, and then before then, I forget when, there was just this grayness, well, whitish gray, a full screen of whitish gray. But what was showing up were vibrating little 1/4-inch vertical lines, vibrating, many of them vibrating within this whitish gray. Do you know what dawned on me later? To me, anyway, those are the arcs of light of the asleep children. Because in A Course in Miracles, the arc of light must be released before the great ray can be downloaded. You know, those are all these just these little vibrating quarter-inch gray lines. Anyway, that all I'm saying is you will, I would suspect, or you wouldn't be around me, will be seeing this. This is presence. This is God's presence. This is your home. So as that screen would change, these things became molten, different colors of molten, gray molten shapes. See, this is part of this creativity of God's awareness. It's always creating. But see, remember though, when it creates or makes, it immediately reabsorbs the energy. So there's really nothing ever made, ever created. There's only clear light that has a radiance to it. But anyway, this molten gray was just molten, just moving. That's the creativity. And then, don't you know, then molten black started showing up. And you know, I laid there and I looked at this. I went, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This molten black, it looked like molten lava. And it settled on the ground at varying depths or heights. And I thought, oh, that's the groundless ground. That's God's presence. That we're all that same presence. Because blackness is how God's presence looks up, but it's molten because it's creative. So now, man, that allows me, when I look above my head, then now, not just looking at my head, I rest within that molten blackness above my head. And from there, I look down. I'm above the battleground, looking down with a God eyeball of it, looking down like that soaring bird. That's the vantage point of awakened, capital A, awareness and your awakened God eyeball. Oh, now what helped me, because we got started late. We didn't get started about 10 after 8, 7, I mean. I made some notes here. I didn't, in Dzogchen, there's 3, that's that highest teaching within, it's not even Buddhism. They believe that Dzogchen came from out of the galaxy to get presented to some Buddhist. But it has 3 main aspects called view, meditation, and action. Man, I didn't get this for the longest time because wow, because see the mind so entangled with all these thoughts, but you just keep leaning back, asking Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, and the enlightened beings to help you. You'll get your insights when you need your insights. The thing was, this finally gelled up. The view, so view, meditation, and action are the 3 main aspects of the Dzogchen practice. The view is seeing it as it is. Now, I've been talking nearly this whole night about seeing the clear light. The view is seeing it as it is. That means seeing the clear light. Now, meditation is the meditation of non-meditation, where you leave it as it is. That's what meditation of non-meditation means. Remember, I talked about how he blew my mind apart, where what the hell do you do if you don't use the leash of mindfulness? Well, you let your mind go free and the body go free. And leaving it as it is, meaning you'll have thoughts, feelings, sensations, they all come, but you let them go. Leaving it as it is becomes the meditation of non-meditation. And part of that is called getting used to it. Boy, I didn't get that at all. I made sticky notes, and I tell you, it was so funny, I would laugh. I couldn't remember the phrase. getting used to it, used to that, getting used to that. I'd have to go back to the note because I couldn't get that verb wasn't how the phrase started. Getting used to that. Well, what the f are you getting used to? You're getting used to seeing the clear light. Short moments repeated many times over and over and over. You're getting used to that, seeing it as leaving it as it is and seeing it as it is. And guess what happens with the action? You end up being as is, being as is, you being within the clear light that you are. You're resting and being at home within the clear light. With the action of responding as needed instead of having reactionary overdoings. You know how that goes. Man, somebody tells you something and around a heartbeat, you jump on them and you just overreact. And then they overreact because you got an energy, you got a chi going here. Instead of in harmony, you've just touched on their reactionary left brain, and off to town you both go. Sort of like two countries, like we're doing now, United States and Iran. Let's just damn react and go bomb them. All right, let's react and let's bomb something back. Let's just do it back and forth. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not responding. That's not diplomacy. That's not taking a breath. Can we just, can we settle this in another way? Duh. I mean, that's wars for you from time number one, from the Mongols and the Vikings and the whatever, Hitler. I mean, we're just going to take over some countries. We're going to take over some people. Let's just go enslave somebody. Da-da. That's left brain thinking. That's dual mind. And but you all are no longer thinking that way, or because you've found A Course in Miracles and you're coming to hear me talk. But anyway, well, now, final thing that happened this week, which really I think could really help you and save you time as well in your awakening. Because remember, you're awake now. Underneath, you got you. Enlightenment is your birthright. You are naturally, you have a Christ Buddha nature. It's here right now. It's just veiled by these beliefs and thoughts that you're letting go of, that you're letting go of. And meantime, seeing proactively practicing seeing through, being through, cutting through these images to see the clear light openness that's here now. But anyway, I saw a Facebook post, and within this post, it had a phrase, not trading in unrealities. I'm going to repeat that. Not trading in unrealities. And man, that hit me just bam. That describes what Jesus in A Course in Miracles talks about is, and I forget his phrase of it, but if you think another person's sick, guess what? Then you're sick. You believe you're a body and you're sick. Now, of course, we're in a balance. If we feel ill, we go get help, whatever. I'm talking in the absolute here. Because of course, I also want to clarify. People think when they take do the course or do whatever, they're going to have to give up their children, give up their loved ones, forsake all this stuff. No, no, no. You still can have attachment to your children and loved ones, but yet it's not the old kind of attachment. You still are loving and caring of them. But okay, but not trading in unrealities. When I've heard in some of our Sangha mates and my family, my brother-in-law just had some surgery, is I caught myself thinking of that person as a body having surgery or seeing them in a bed, a hospital bed. You with me? And man, in a prop, I thought, oh gosh, I'm trading in unreality. Let's just say they believe they're a body and they're having surgery and they're ill. But if I believe they're a body and having surgery in the real, then I've just traded in unrealities. Their reality is clear light. So, see, that phrase just helped me, bam, be aware of what I was thinking about. Because it's natural and normal. You care about your family, friends, and sangamates. Oh, boy. Stop and see through the form to its clear light essence. Then, therefore, guess what? In your unconscious, it it believes you are a clear light spirit. What you think of another is what you think you are. That's how it works. So if I think I'm a body, you're a body, then I'm a body. I'm trading in unrealities. Whoa. All right, now let's see. Okay. We read in we three what time? Well, we'll read the three practices. Y'all read this week on page 69 and 70 about the three practices of meditation, and we'll cover those next week because this week we covered about the pendulum and seeing that yin and yang. And when that neat, they hold hands, that thread will not swing. It's in balance. That's what happens ultimately. Your left right brain balances, yin and yang rejoin. You're in harmony. Third eye's open. You're above the battleground. But we can practice these things meantime. Let's see my list here. If there isn't something burning that I want to. Oh, during this whole thing, when I felt that direct connection as a conduit directly from the groundless ground of God's presence, the black molten lava, to the outer, directly through the big transparent blue sphere that holds the whole universe. Went through a quick list of recounting the things that helped me get to there, and I covered them tonight. I'm just going to go down them here. Direct access path of Dzogchen, those three aspects of view, meditation, and action, seeing it as it is, leaving it as it is, getting used to that, and then being as is, with the action resulting that the 3-in-1 result of all that is the view. You end up with the view of clear light, God's presence everywhere. You're seeing the light in everyone and everything. That's called the diamond path. Jesus's and advanced forgiveness, stretch it, not trading unrealities. Breathe, relax, smile. Oh, that's so important. Breathe, relax, smile. Becoming aware of how my body feels, aware of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. See, that came because being 100% fully present with what you're doing while you're doing it as best you can. Like when you're driving your car. Man, I can't tell you when I'm driving my car anymore how often the mind just goes and off to the destination thinking about what I'm going to do when I'm going to get there, or what I'm blah blah, or it's thinking about a memory. I just immediately when I'm aware it's doing that, that liberates those thoughts, and I'm back with my hands on the steering wheel. You just being aware of what you're doing while you're doing it, and results in you being aware when your mind has gone into the past or future, and it's back in the now. Then when it gets liberated, then I was practicing being above the battleground. Okay, that's the ticket. So here we are, March 3rd, 2026. Spring will be upon us before we know it. Bless your hearts in your northern climates with the cold and snow. That's just cycle. That's this nature's cycle, this rhythm. So any thoughts, questions, comments before I stop the recording? And by habit, we know we practice seeing through all these forms, identifying them for what they are. So do your thing here. And D left us. Oh, Angela unmuted. Yes, Angela. Did you want to make a comment?
I,
Lynn's going.
I,
We're still recording.
I, I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and especially with Glenda. Appreciate everything that you share with us. It's just, I always thought, have to smile at synchronicity because you talked about chi tonight, and I just made an intention. I've been thinking about going for exercise, and I didn't know what I was doing with it all. Uh, I always liked the easy way out. I was never really a physical, like growing up and that, into sports and anyways, so walking was one at 3 o'clock with my dog, and the other one was I'm going to get some Tai Chi movement walking in the home when I can't maybe get outside. And that was really an intention that I put out today with my partner that I'm going to find a YouTube. So thank you very much because it just sort of validated, I guess if you want to say validation, but it's just that's how synchronicity that's how spirit works. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That reminds me, I could look on YouTube for it as well and not always go to the health club, but do that. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.